All right, so I just finished a tutorial on when you're having a slow morning and you have to put your shoes on. Okay, so I just put my shoes on and I went over the whole thing of how I did it. So I'll just briefly recap. So I put my pad in my chair first. Okay, I did a sit to stand in a higher than normal seat. Makes it much easier. Then I opened wide. I hip hinged forward to get my shoes on. Okay. You don't want to be flexing your back when you get your shoes on. So we've already now started the warm up of some very important body structures, which is your hips, your groin, your hips, your back. So we're going to take our steps out. I've got my rod. I'm going to do just a turn, just a turn. And here's the important thing. If you, again, have done anything that has bothered your shoulder joint in any way, don't be taking your elbow up. Keep your elbows down, okay? Keep your shoulders down. I have to help my little doggy up again. She can get down, she can't get back up. Okay, so there, she's good. So as I do my steps, and I've already done a great big hip hinge, now I'm just going to keep my elbows down and I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to come forward. And the most important thing, and if you've overextended in your shoulders, especially through your upper back, your shoulder joint at all, don't be putting your elbow up excessively. So step, step, turn, turn, step back, step back, step back, step back. So these little, and then it's a forward and a back motion. It's a forward and a back motion. Forward and back. Then you back up, back up, back up. So this is a morning that if we were in the gym, I would have probably brought you, since Jane's on early, I would have probably bought a green smoothie for everybody to try. And I would have brought Jane some green grapes. She likes to eat her green stuff. She doesn't like to drink it. Keep your shoulders down. I'm going out and in. I'm going out and in. So I have a bar here. If I have, which I did, hurt my shoulder, the bar is extremely beneficial. I can't overemphasize that enough. And if you want to keep from having problems with your shoulders, use these principles of letting one hand, the stronger hand, guide the other hand. I see Chrissy coming on. I see Marilyn. Good. I went through a whole tutorial, you guys, of warming up through your hips, especially if you tend to have wonky hips. And I will do that again, but right now I'm doing a very guarded walking pattern. It's a hesitation. Okay, so by virtue of being a hesitation, with my shoulders down, using a bar, I am doing a balance maneuver at the same time that I'm doing a warm up, okay? Because if you put your foot out like we are, which we're just doing a walk forward and a walk backward, okay? And all I'm doing is taking my hands out and back, out and back, out and back. And now I'm going to start lifting one leg at a time, like that. So I did some very guarded walking in succession. And now, see, I'm ready to do a holding kind of a pattern. See, I'm holding. So I'm going to go forward now and pull the heel to the hip, forward, Drop your center of gravity, drop your shoulders in through the nose, out through the mouth, or out through the nose. I'm doing a heel to hip, holding step, heel to hip. Notice, I didn't even do this holding stuff until we did several walking back and forth, okay? And when I say walking back and forth, most of us are in a little area, in a room somewhere, and you can only walk like 2 to 4 steps. That's okay. That's all you need to do. But before I did that, with the hesitating forward and back, I did a very guarded, I'll say guarded, walking pattern, okay? So now I'm gonna do one more time. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna bring the knee up. So it's an exaggerated knee lift, which by virtue of this kind of motion, you are doing a balance work, a balance type move. So you're asking your whole body to be held up by that one leg. Okay, so walk back, walk back, walk back. So this is a very beneficial thing to do before you're going to do any higher type motion. So I'm gonna walk across here. See, just like that. I'm just gonna go across midline and push back. So by virtue of stepping across and then pulling yourself back, see, you're pushing forward, then you're pulling back. So you're doing a push-pull. Very beneficial. And I'm doing a push out and a pull back. So again, if you've had shoulder issues, if you've overextended, a push-pull is a very functional thing to do. Okay, and I like to get people doing it like when they're walking. All right. So if you do these kind of motions when you're walking, like for instance, I know Nancy walks in the mall. I don't know if she's on this morning. But if you want to do it nonchalantly, see, you just put your hands out and bring them back. You don't have to have a pole. But if you're walking in the mall and you don't want people to bother you, then you get a pole, or you do a push-pull, and maybe you do it kind of in a crazy way, and then people think you're crazy, and so then they leave you alone. I think you can appreciate this. Okay, so I'm doing a repeated motion here. A lot of times we get up in the morning, especially if it's a slow, dragging morning, has a lot to do with the weather, absolutely. We don't do this. You don't do this motion. You drag yourself to the kitchen, get you a hot drink, you drag yourself to the John, go to the bathroom. You don't cross over. This crossing over for people with joints replaced, this is a very important move to do. So it might seem like, oh, well, we haven't really started the class yet. We have started the class, because when you step over like this and you push that rod down, or just your hands, your feet are going into the side motion, back and forth. You're crossing midline. You're keeping everything down. You're keeping your knees soft. You're doing a push-pull in a very gentle way. This is a very good move to get warmed up with, this right here, okay? So take a big deep breath. Now do a step out, okay? A split stance. I'll move back here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna step out a little wider than normal, okay? So I'm gonna be right here. I'm gonna take my back knee and bend it. I'm gonna drop my whole center of gravity as far as I can, okay? So I want you to really practice what your position is, how far can you go down, and maintain good form. Now, if you struggle with your balance when you're doing a split stance, and we're going to do some split stance today with weights. When you do this and you're bending that knee down, have your chair or a pole where you can hang on to it, because that's just a safety mechanism. Okay, so tight tummy, and you're dropping, 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 dropping. Catch yourself. See how I was catching myself? This is a very good thing to do with a pole. Look at what I'm doing. I'm staying down. Some of you have come up already. Try to get down there and hang out here for just a second. Pretend I'm punching you back right here. See, my knee is pretty much in line with my ankle in the front. My heel is definitely off the ground. I am really feeling a lot of pressure right back here. And then straighten that back leg. See that? Take a big breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. Okay? Bring that back leg up, right even with your other leg. Get your pole right where you can hang on to it. Okay? Step back with the other leg. So I'm going to take a big step back. Now, what I just did is going to be a real challenge for some of you. Okay? And I know this. For some of you, it's not a challenge at all. Yay for you. Really get your form good and really drop that knee in the back and really push those muscles, okay? But if this is difficult for you to take a wide step, just go as far as you feel you can, okay? Then bend that knee a little bit, hang out down here for just a little bit. You should not feel this straining in your knees, either one of them. Because, why? Because you're in line. If your knee is going too far out, just step the leg back a little bit, drop your knee in the back. Don't junt this knee out. That's what I would be looking at if I came into your room right now. I would take a look and see how far out over your toe is your knee. And I would try to move you back and move you down, okay? So, in through the nose, out through the nose. Really rib cage up, shoulders down. You can use your bar as a point of balance or a chair. Great, okay? Then come back up. You straighten the back leg. Yeah, straighten the back leg. Now here's the big move. I'm going to bring that back leg up, and I'm right here in neutral again, okay? So if you felt a lot of tension starting, turn that toe out. Take a big breath in through the nose, out through the nose. Yay. Tight tummy, turn, okay? So anytime you start building up tension that you feel, especially through your hip, you just turn that toe out. Works really good, all right? So now we're going to move on down to our back. So we're going to take our bar. We're going to put it right here where we can see it at the seat level. Okay, I think you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, now we're going to go on down and prep everything else as we start entering into body loads. We just did a couple of body loads because we were in a split stance. Okay, that's where we start. So now I'm just going to put my hands right here. I'm going to keep my elbows soft. I'm going to step back, and I'm going to push my butt back, and I'm going to carefully push my rear end back so that my ears are between my arms. And I'm going to be stretching through that shoulder carefully. Then I'm going to bend my elbows, rotate forward, keep my elbows soft, and go into a plank, a high plank. Then I'm going to push back again. So I'm going to push back, really let that arm, without pressure, stretch. So you don't want to be putting pressure on your shoulder right now. Okay? So now we come back. We make sure that our elbows are bent. My knees are bent. Then if you can straighten your legs, great. Straighten your legs. Okay? Take a big deep breath. step in, okay? So this is called an assisted runner's stretch or walker stretch. So let's go back and put our feet here. So how did we get into this? Because this is a move that I really want you to know, okay? I want you to do it correctly. It's to stretch the shoulders, the lats. It's to start your core really working. So you put your hands on the side of your chair, you step back, not all the way, and then you push into your heels and you're stretching all through your lats, through all the way down to the middle lower back. Then you come forward, you keep your elbows soft, bring one leg to the chair. The other leg now is back. And I'm gonna try to put my heel down, okay? So here's the thing. I'm starting to get, I'm warmed up. I'm putting all my joints through nice ranges of motion. I'm letting that calf, I think of Bonnie especially, with this move. This is Bonnie's move, okay? I'm trying to get that heel down. If it's too much of a stretch, bend your knee a little bit, okay? And then go back into it. So be gentle with it. You can overstretch, all right? So once I've done that now, I'm gonna bring the back leg up, okay? Take a big breath. Stay into a little squat position. Take the other leg back. But here's the deal. This one stays right here in front of the chair. See that? So I step back there and then I try to get my heel down, okay? Keep my elbows bent and I try to keep putting my heel down. If it's too big of a stretch, those of you who have had trouble with plantar fasciitis, Achilles tendonitis, cramping, all of that, make sure you bend your knee if you need to, and then put the heel back down. Wow, will you get a nice stretch? So I'm trying to talk you through holding this for a little bit. If you've had hamstring issues, this is a move that you need to really know. And you can vary it. You can make it easy, or you can make it more intense just by bending your knee. But see, all of this other postural is correct. Okay, I'm not over leaning. I'm not putting too much pressure on my arms. This is holding me right here. I'm building a lot of pressure up right here in the thigh. Okay. And I'm hanging out for a little bit. Some of you are wanting to quit a long time ago. I'm sure Kathy's counting the seconds, okay? So now I'm gonna just come right back up. I'm gonna be right here, and I'm gonna come up, okay? I'm gonna take one hand, right back here, and right back there. I'm gonna check in with my shoulder, so to speak. Then you come in, and you put it down, okay? Shoulder width in your stance, drop your shoulders, take the other one back and reach. And you shouldn't feel any sticking points in your shoulder. If you have sticking points, then you need to drop the arm height, because generally you can do this without having a shoulder issue, okay? So we're up here, we're turning. We want to reach and go back there without sticking points in the shoulder. And those of you who've had shoulder problems, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those of you who don't have shoulder problems, you don't want shoulder problems, trust me. But sometimes you have injuries and accidents, and that's called life. And so you got to learn how to manage it all. Okay, take a big breath. Yes, I got my pole. I'm going to use my pole again, but right now I'm going to go pick up a single weight, okay? Now, if you want to pick up 2 weights, you go right ahead and pick up 2 weights. Okay, I am still being very modest with my weight load with this shoulder. So that's my shoulder issue. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go for it's light, but it's a medium light. Now, if you want to pick up a weight on both hands, you go for it. That's fine. I'm being very careful with my shoulders while I'm doing loading. Okay, and I'm trying to show you how to do this. The minute somebody, you know, whatever your weak area is, and you have an injury, I know very well, you just go, oh, I can't exercise today. Well, I'm here to tell you, you're just going to feel worse. I mean, other than, you know, you have several things like wrong with you. Okay, I've got a 9-pound weight, and I've used both hands because I'm letting one hand help the other hand. You see what I'm doing? I'm shifting. Okay, I'm shifting by bending my knees and thinking about what I'm doing on my feet. Okay, so I'm on my heel, I'm pulling a toe up, I'm dropping my shoulders, my hands are laced on the barrel of the weight. Okay, big breath in through the nose, out through the nose. I'm going to bring right down and put my weight right here on my knee. I'm going to come right to the chest. I'm going to go to the other knee. Okay, I'm going to come right up here to the chest. I'm going to go to the other knee. Now, how am I getting it on my knee? It's very important. The move, that is. I have it here in the middle. I'm doing most of the work with my right arm, and I'm being very careful with my left arm, but I'm getting great training because I'm doing what's called cross transference in benefits of training. When you've injured or you're trying to be careful on one side of your body, you work the other side, and the side that's injured gets benefit. It doesn't get benefit if you put too much on it. That's why I'm doing it this way. But if you are good and you want to get a harder workout, you put weights in both hands, that's fine. And you do the same thing. See, you would just have them like this, and you would come here, and you would come here. As a matter of fact, as I'm doing this, see, I don't have any weight in this hand, but I'm doing the same motion. And I have the weight in this one, which this one has no problem whatsoever, because this side is not the side that got injured. It's this side. And it just kicks up once in a while. So I have to go easy once in a while. That doesn't mean I have to quit my workout. It means I have to go easier. So I'm showing you what that looks like. Okay. So I can either do it like this, or I can do it in tandem. Okay. And I'm pushing my butt back. And as I come up with this 9-pound weight, every time I do this hip hinge, every time that I do it correctly, and I push into my heels, and I come back, I am strengthening my back extensors. I am strengthening my gluteals. I am strengthening my quads. And if you've had hamstring issues, or if you've had feet issues, that makes everything so much harder for you. You want to do more repetitions, and you want to do less weight load. Okay? Because the idea is to help yourself work out so that you don't have a setback. You have a setback when you overdo, okay? Or you underdo. Either way, it's got you. Okay, so I've got about 3 or 4 more of these. And You might be saying, wonder why she's doing something now. Well, I just told you I'm doing higher repetition because I'm doing lesser weight. But you have to be very circumspect about your movement patterning as I'm doing this motion. Okay, I got about one more. Take a deep breath. And I'm coming up. Okay, now I'm going to keep that weight right here.
But you were too short of 30. Really, Jeannie? 28. Really?
Work with me, Kathy. I know she's counting. She's the best at counting. But see, Kathy, I got to do some more repetitions today because I got to get you guys to work out because many of you haven't hurt your shoulders like I did. So yeah, it was a combination of carrying a little dog and being tensed up all weekend long. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm not putting load in this hand. I'm putting load here. I could make it a very big load, but I chose 9 for me right now. You might choose 12, or you might choose 9 and 9. Perfect. That's good. Do that. Take a big deep breath. Now we're going to do what we did in the warm-up. Remember the split stance? Remember that halting kind of motion that I was doing on the warm-up, like this? Okay. Now, because you have a weight in both hands or one, so it's up to you. Some of you talked to me later and you told me that workout was the perfect one for me because I had really been out. You know, Elise, I think, told me I've been out. I really overdid it on my shoulders. So this is up to you. Put the weight in both hands or one. So the deal is, as you're doing this and you're dealing with all of the injuries, all of the challenges that we have, okay, when you do this kind of a hesitating balance, I call it a hesitating balance walk, man, it starts kicking your rear end, okay? So again, some of you might say, well, you know, she doesn't have any weight on this side. It's not benefiting. You would be wrong. There is great research. You can look it up on a phenomenon, I've already mentioned it, called cross transference. So what will make it work is if you maintain really good posture. That means don't drop your shoulder, and you have to really think to not drop your shoulder if you have a weight here, see? So I'm going to do one more pass, okay? So all I'm doing is doing a curl, and I'm just bringing it to the front of my shoulder, and I'm working my other arm with no weight. You can do that, or you can have weights in both hands, okay? So take a big deep breath. Now we're going to move it up. I'm going to bring this here, okay? So I've got this right here. I'm going to move this one right here. And you see, I can do this with no problem. The minute that you feel like, oh, I feel it there, then you don't do that move. But see, I have my elbow forward. That's number one. Now we're going from the halting walk like this. Now we're going to bring the knee up, okay? So you might have to several times correct for shoulder height because you're going to be doing this. So you're going to be leaning. I don't want you to lean. So how do you not lean? Correct yourself right along. Tight tummy, drop your shoulders, both. Then you take a step, you get on balance, and you bring that knee up, and you go 1,001, 1,002. You step down, okay? Now you bring the other one up, and you bring it up, and you don't have to bring it all the way up. Okay, that's the hardest choice. You can have your toe close to the ground. That's fine. Do you see how I just corrected? Yeah, I just corrected because I felt myself leaning into the weight. So you bring it up, 1,000, 1,002, step. One more, bring it up as high as you can, 1,000, 1,002. You can go to 1,000, 3,004. Tight tummy, drop your shoulders, correct. Bring it up. Here we go, 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. And then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna pull the heel to the hip, okay? Put that leg down. I'm gonna go heel to hip. And here's your challenge. When you drag this foot and you bring that heel to your hip, you don't want to over lean either way, okay? And again, I have my shoulder, my injured one, my challenge. I'll say my challenge shoulder. It's always a challenge, okay? Look at my elbow. I mean, this is a big deal. If you've injured your shoulder, to even get it here and it not hurt, that's a big deal, okay? This is what builds endurance in those muscles and structures around that shoulder, okay? So now I'm gonna put this right here in the middle, see? I'm gonna go down into a squat, see? I'm gonna put the weight down. I'm gonna come up, push my hands out, okay? So I'm in this position. Once or twice, I'm gonna put my hands back here, release tension in the butt. Don't pull your tummy in. Put your hands right back here. Soften your knees, drop your shoulders, and push your hips forward. Okay, your knees are soft. You're pushing the hips forward. So you're doing a hyperextension. Excellent move for almost all back issues. Of course, if there's something with your, particular back that bothers, then of course don't do it. Now, when I'm saying that, I don't mean a tightness. That's what we're trying to help you mitigate. We're trying to help that problem. You may feel a tightness, but that's not the same thing as a pain, okay? I'm the pain. Kathy would say, yes, amen to that. Okay. Okay, so come right here. So I put my weight down. I pull my arms back here. I can't even tell you, for somebody that has a shoulder, a delicate shoulder that kicks up every once in a while, when you go from this position to up here and then to rotate them out, that's a big move, okay? So we're gonna come down now and pick up the weight. So this is a 9 pound. It could be 9 and 9 for some of you, that's fine. But we're gonna push into the butt. We're gonna keep the chin tucked. I'm gonna put my good hand first, and then I'll just kind of place this hand because I'm not pulling any weight with this, okay? I just have my hand placed here. So the knees are soft, they're not locked. Now I'm gonna go back down, and I'm gonna go down a little further with my butt, and I'm gonna bring it back up. So I'm gonna do 3 of these before I do my W again, okay? Stay with me. So this is where a lot of you have a problem. Because see, you're going to put something down and you think that your butt is coming with you, and it's not. Some of you put something down and you keep your butt high and you put your head down. That is not what we want. So get in front of a mirror, in front of a glass, or have somebody watch you. Push into the heels, come down, get your butt 1 inch or even a 1/2 inch lower. Hang out down here, then push into the heels and come up. We're doing this slowly, see? So I'm gonna do 1 more. Down, push your butt back, go down 1 inch more. Okay, into the heels, hang out here. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, come up, heels, heels, heels. Okay, now just do half. Okay, don't put the weight down. Hold on to the weight. Push your butt back. Come into the heels and stay pretty high. See, I'm not going very deep right now. And I'm gonna go push, and I'm gonna go push. And what I'm pushing is I'm pushing my butt down. I'm pushing into the heels, down, keeping my chin tucked. Really pushing my taillights back. Push into the heels. Into the heels. You're staying high. See, my head's not below my hips. Push into the heels. Push into the heels. Push into the heels. Keep going. We've got about 3 more. Here we go. Big breath, nose, out through the nose. 1 more. And come up. Ah, you should have felt it right here. Yes. Okay. I'm going to take this weight, put it down. Okay. Open your hands. Now I'm going to take the weight up. 1 more. Again, we're doing some body loading, especially as it has to do with your hips, your back, lower back especially, your quads, your hamstrings, your feet. So I'm going to go up in weight. I'm picking up 1 weight. You can pick up 2, or you could just stay with what you think is medium. So if you want to go heavy, go heavy. Pick up both. That's fine. But if you have a little problem with a shoulder, a hip, a whatever, I'm showing you how to get that cross transference training, no matter if you have an injury. Okay, so here is my heavier weight. You could have both, but do yourself a favor. Test yourself right now and take a look. If you have a mirror, a window, anybody, okay? Take both shoulders, come up to your ears. Now drop both shoulders. That will help them be almost equal, okay? So keep your elbows soft here. Don't lock it, okay? Don't lock it. So I'm right here, and I'm gonna cross over. See that? So when I cross over now, and I'm gonna release my back foot. So let me caution you. If you have only 1 weight, your back on the other side is trying to equalize everything right now. And when I go and I say, pick your foot up back here, oh my goodness, it turns into a whole different move. Please have a chair, a wall, or your pole that you hang onto. Because we're hanging out here now. Equalize. Don't let that shoulder bring you down. Okay, put that foot down. Sink back. Put your hand on the chair if you need to, because you're going to bring this foot up. See, and then you're going to cross over. See that? And then down. All right? So you want to get your chair where you can put your hand on your chair if you need it. You don't have to put heavy-handed, but you need to have something that you can put your hand on, whether it's a pole or whatever. Now again, I'm doing this and I'm gaining cross transference benefit on my injured side, or the side that is a constant challenge. I'll say it that way, because usually it's no problem, but once in a while it will kick up. So I can't trade. You could trade if you need to. Do it. So now I'm going to cross over with the other side. So see, I'm going to get where I can hold this if I need it. Drop my shoulders, rib cage up. Yeah, keep my chin tucked. Okay, I'm going to cross over. So far, so good, right? Okay, be careful, because the minute you crossed over, if you have only 1 weight, you're going to be leaning in. Don't lean. Make this side over here pull you up. I'm going to put my hand right here, because I'm going to bring the back leg up. Okay, it's turning into quite a different move now. All right, hang out, drop your shoulders, breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Now you're gonna go back, you're gonna sink back, and you're gonna lift this leg. See that? And you're gonna open it. And you're gonna put it down. Okay, so it's a very orchestrated move using very functional motions, because I have some dancers in my class right now. And if you can't keep your balance doing these kinds of moves, well, you're in trouble. See? And you've got to be able to shift and come back. And you have to do that if you're a gardener. You have to do that if you're working outside, raking. If you're just walking and chewing gum. Right, Nance? She's rolling her eyes at me. Okay, so I'm putting my weight now. This is a heavier weight for me. You can have both hands. That's fine. But here we go. We're working ourselves back out of this routine. Okay. So here I am, a little wider than normal. Yeah. I'm going to push my butt back. I'm going to go into my heels. This hand is not lifting anything. This hand is. I just put this here just to get it out of the way, kind of. Okay. It's not lifting. Okay. Keep your elbows in. Again, you can have both hands have a weight. If you're good to go and you want a real workout, but like harder, well, good. I'm doing a hard workout, but it's not like doing both. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Push back. Come all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. Do not put your weight down. You're hanging out here. So to this squat, I've added my 12 pounds. Stay into the heels. Come up 1 inch. Heels. 1 inch, heels, come up 1 inch. Do not flex your back. Keep pushing that butt back. Don't put your head below your hips. Stay into the heels, into the heels. Breath, in through the nose, out through the nose, in through the nose, heels. Just 3 more, just 3 more. Stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. Okay, back up. Yow! I should have heard you yelling right here. Yes, you can get a really good workout. You do not have to injure whatever it is you have a challenge with, and just have to go about it a little differently. That's all. Okay, so now we come up. Now we stay shoulder width. Now we do that rotation carefully, and we're into a W. See that? And I'm going to bring the hands here. I'm going to keep checking. Everything's good. My hands are behind my head. Do not push your head forward. The minute I did this, some of you did this. Don't do it. Keep your chin tucked. Your hands are back, and it really pulls you into pressing and stretching through here. And you don't have to hurt that shoulder, but it needs to move. If it doesn't move, you get into frozen shoulder, and you don't want that. Okay, now I'm going to show you a really important pendulum move. Step forward, just like that, then pull yourself back. Hip hinge. Push the butt back. Take one hand. It's going to go out here. Keep your chin tucked. This hand is doing what's called a pendulum. And I can guarantee you that if you have a problem shoulder, this little pendulum move, you will either, you can do it teeny, and if you go a little wider, it might cause you problems. Go teeny. But this one's out here. So what am I doing? By choosing to stand in this stance with my toes forward, okay, and do this pendulum, I'm not only training the back muscles, the neck muscles, the core muscles, my gluteal muscles, especially my hamstrings, but it's gentle. You hardly even notice it until you've held here for a little bit. Then you start going, oh, geez, I feel it back here. See, I feel it back here. So the hand comes out here. You're pushing into a gentle pendulum. If it causes you any problem, you make it little again. See that? So you get to where you can, the problem shoulder, you get to where you can do a wide pendulum, not fast, but you're not lifting. That's the point. You're not lifting. See, if you come here and you're doing this kind of thing, you're lifting. This is a pendulum, a true pendulum. You make the pendulum go wider and wider. Then you get to where you can go under, and then you can get to where you can go out. See, with no pain. And if you can't do that without pain, then don't do it. Okay, now you come back. Let me tell you something. That move, I have this leg forward, this leg back. So we're going to do the other side. This stance that I'm choosing right here. See, toes are forward. When I go into a 90 degrees right here, what am I wanting to do? Push my butt back. Yes. Keep my tummy tight. Yes. Shoulders down. Yes. Then I'm going to bring my injured arm right here. I'm going to keep it bent. But if I could keep it straight, I will. As soon as I start feeling too much stress, I'll bring it back in. And I start my pendulum. And if you're too much on the front leg, then go back into the back leg a little bit. But what you don't want to do in this position is go into a flexion in your back. No flexion, no flexion. Keep your chin tucked. And all this is doing, all this work here is trying to keep you from falling over on your nose. This back here is helping to mitigate some of that press. So this is big time hamstring, big time neck, big time core and back. And see, I'm going wider and wider with this because I can with no problem. See that? So after I've gone very small and then wider, just like a ripple, and then wider, then I'll go out and I'll go under. Okay? And I all the time, see, this one has stayed right here, and then I'll bring it down. And that's enough for that shoulder, okay? Big breath. All right. So now we're gonna come back and we're gonna get our little bar, okie dokie. So we're doing a lot of body loading. We're using some assisted hand weights. I'm using a bar. I'm taking real special care not to drop my shoulder one way or the other, okay? So now this is gonna be, again, we've done this before. This is always a good one to do when you're trying to really push your training, your balance, make your balance better and everything. You take a bar and you have something you can hang on to. So I'm not sure if Kay's on. So Kay, make sure you have something that you're hanging on to, whether it's a wall or a chair or whatever. So I'm going to bring my leg up. I'm going to put this bar under. See that? See that? Now I'm going to soften the supporting leg. Some of you, this right here is going to be plenty. Okay, the knee is soft. You're going under and just come back. Keep your hand here, okay? If you want to change hands, well, good for you. But don't mess up your form. Don't lock your leg, okay? Don't drop your leg. Don't drop this leg. Use your chair anytime you need to. Try to get to where you can pass this bar under, grab it, and come back and grab it, okay? Tight tummy and put it down. Now, if you were working that, whoa, are you feeling the muscles right back here? That's one of the reasons I do this move, okay? So now switch, okay? So I'm gonna be right here in this one now. So I have to make sure my knee stays soft, shoulders down. I'm gonna bring my leg up, all right? And I'm gonna pass the bar under, and I'm gonna bring it up. Now, some of you might say, well, you know, I'm not in a circus. I'm gonna like, well, you get to where you can do this without locking your knee. Keep breathing. And you keep this knee up. And you get to where you can do that 10 times, maybe 2 sets of 10. You're gonna be on your way to getting stronger in your hamstring, stronger in all of your leg, stronger feet, and better balance, okay? It's hard to get to where you can do 10 if you don't go super fast, okay? So I'm gonna continue. So I just took a little break. You can take a break. I'm gonna keep this leg up, keep this here if I need it, my tummy tight, shoulders down. Soften your supporting leg. That's where the work is happening as far as hamstring, as far as quad, gluteal. Oh my goodness, your foot. Some of you have scrunched your toes up. Don't scrunch your toes up. Open your toes. In through the nose, out through the nose, in through the nose, out through the nose. Okay, just 2 more. Whoops. 2 more. Here we go. I'm telling you, this is harder than it looks. Harder. And put it down. Okay. Turn the toe out. Immediate release. Oh my goodness. Immediate release. Bring it back. Bring the other toe out. Immediate release. Yay. Very, very, very good. All right. Now, I'm going to turn the chair and I'm going to grab my band. I'm sorry if you don't have your band next to you. If you don't have your band, just use a tea towel, use a t-shirt, whatever, okay? So we've been standing a lot, so we're gonna set, and I'm going to take my little bar, put it right in front of me, and I'm just gonna put my feet here and roll it. See, you can even do this later with no shoes on. Because when you roll it, it'll walk a little bit. You'll have to keep pulling it back. That's okay. You go all the way out, bring your toes up. See, too many people do this and they don't get the full benefit. Roll the thing out, say rib cage up, drop your shoulders, pull your toes up with your heels on your bar. Then put your toes down and raise your heels. And the toes are on the bar. Okay, now we're talking about great ankle mobility moves. Okay, don't go fast. This is not for fast. This is for really pulling those toes up. As a matter of fact, you should really feel these tibialis anterior muscles when you go into this kind of a heel down, toe up position. Okay, so once you have your toes going, and you just kind of, it's perpetual motion. You keep it going, okay? So let's set you up here. So with the shoulder issue, a lot of times we just need to drop our shoulders and put a gentle pull, okay? See, this is not hard, but it's taut. I feel the pressure. So when you're working yourself out of you're trying to manage a persistent problem, you just don't want to push it over the edge. You want to move. You want to put great pressure. You don't want to push it over the edge. So you keep your heels going. You drop your shoulders. You say rib cage up. And your elbows have to touch your waist. Then you just keep it taut. Now, if you want to pull it, you go right ahead and pull it if you don't have a shoulder issue currently. But when you do, you're going to remember this little move because, see, if you don't have an injury, you can't even fathom how hard it is for somebody to do something simple like this and not re-injure, okay? So the big mistake that is made when people do life and they get in, you know, whether it's an overuse injury, whether it's an actual injury, you fell or somebody hit you or something. You cannot fathom how hard it is until you've had the injury. So that's the reason why I've conducted my classes these years for how I do. I know injury. Some of them my fault, some of them not my fault. Okay, take a breath. So this one is a result of me landing in the road, and it created a big, what's called hematoma. And at the time, they're like, you know, it'll be okay. Well, it kicks up a little problem. So I have to just be careful with it, and I have to stay strong. Okay, take a breath. I breathe into my mouth, but you breathe in through your nose. So will I. Out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your nose. Now put your hands right here on your shoulders, okay? Breathe in through your nose and do not raise your shoulders. In through your nose, out through your nose. Keep your shoulders down. Okay, you want to use your diaphragm. There's huge, great studies on, real bona fide studies on breathing. And mostly, yes, you want to just get air in there. However, I will try to find a link and show you some really good physiological research on breathing. Okay, I hope you guys did really well today. We're going to knock off right now because I'm not going to push it anymore. Anyway, okay, we'll take off this.